Well, we are going to take a look now at the state of the media here in the U.S. Just last week, we reported that a Pew study showed that liberal-leaning MSNBC is 85% opinion. But the network isn't alone when it comes to airing opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the handcuff necklace is missing. I repeat, the necklace is MIA. Sometime yesterday, Nancy lost the necklace. I spoke with Nancy just a short time ago about this trying time in her life. Nancy Grace, first of all, I want to express my condolences.
That's a dandy. That is a walleye. It's a 10-pounder. I love to do that.
Let me just start this by saying to atheists, I'm not. I wish you would find the way. My first hope for you is that you maybe find yourself some faith.
So why Kate? And if not Kate, I get why. If not Kate, then who else ranks on your celebrity crushes?
So is serious reporting hard to come by these days? To take a look at the state of the Fourth Estate, author Chris Hedges joins us now to discuss. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you there. So I want to start off by reading a quote from one of your articles. It's on Truthdig on this very topic. You say, quote, "The celebrity trolls who currently reign on commercial television, who bill themselves as liberal or conservative, read from the same corporate script. They spin the same court gossip, they ignore what the corporate state wants ignored, and they champion what the corporate state wants championed. They do not challenge or acknowledge the structures of corporate power." So, Chris, what do you think is the biggest problem with the media today?
Well, that sort of sums it up. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the corporate state. You have a half dozen corporations: Viacom, General Electric, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, Disney, Clear Channel, that control almost everything most Americans watch or listen to. And, you know, as I wrote in that column, the lie of omission is still a lie. They hold up political puppets, you know, as part of this kind of charade that to deflect attention from where power actually resides, and that's in the hands of corporations. It's impossible within the American political system to vote against the interests of Goldman Sachs. And so we don't hear anything about climate change. The poor, the rural and urban poor, are rendered invisible in this country, and they're really suffering at this point. I just finished a book on it, 2 years on it, Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt, with the cartoonist Joe Sacco, out of the poorest pockets of the country. We don't hear anything about the assault against civil liberties, whether that's the Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act, warrantless wiretapping, the use of the Espionage Act to shut down whistleblowers, the misuse of the 2001 Authorization to Use Military Force Act as through giving the executive branch the power to assassinate American citizens. And climate change, we should have, given the crisis that is now confronting the ecosystem on which the human species depends for its existence, we should have climate scientists on every night. And none of that appears because it's all driven by celebrity gossip and trivia. And yeah, okay, Fox will spin it one way and MSNBC will spin it another, but it's all the same tawdry, useless garbage.
Now, what do you think drives these editorial decisions? I know you just pointed out some very important stories there. Why do you think there isn't more airtime dedicated to these kinds of issues?
Well, because we've lost control of our media. You know, when General Electric owns, as they do, MSNBC, and I began the column writing about Phil Donahue, who was removed from MSNBC, although he had the highest ratings of any show in the evening, because he dares to put people on who question the rush to the Iraq War. Look, General Electric's made a fortune off of these wars, as has Microsoft, and they're hardly going to allow a dissident voice to impede their profits or their ratings. And that's really, at this point, what it's all about. These television personalities, people like Chris Matthews, who was a cheerleader for the war on MSNBC, makes about $5 million a year. They're celebrities. You know, they're judged on their likability, what in the business is called a Q score, not on their commitment to news or to the truth.
Now, yeah, it sounds like you're saying that the state of the media has become more of a business model these days. Chris, when do you think that this happened? Can you pinpoint an area in time or a point in time where this shift happened, or has it been something that's been gradual?
Well, it's been a gradual descent, a kind of deterioration over my own lifetime as a journalist. I've watched, especially on the airwaves, the deterioration of news. I would argue that at this point, commercial networks don't even do news. But if we had to point at a particular moment and when this process was accelerated, it would be Clinton's decision to deregulate the FCC. And that, of course, allowed these corporations to buy up. I think Clear Channel owns about 1,500 stations in the United States. And that was a kind of consolidation into a very small number of corporate hands and diminished the capacity for alternative forms of information and independent forms of information to reach the American public.
Going along with this journalism as a business model, business, of course, that loss of supply and demand. And so could it be that the media is just giving the people what they want, that maybe they want some of these kinds of more entertainment-driven stories, that's what people are going to watch?
Well, they sink to the lowest common denominator. They build these kind of soap opera scenarios night after night, week after week around celebrities. It's entertaining. That's, really at this point what the business they're in. It's entertainment. But I worked for many years, including 15 at the New York Times, and news is not about entertainment. News is about information. News is about giving your readers or your viewers often uncomfortable and unpleasant truths. Climate change, let's go back to climate change, would be a good one. That is the purpose of news. It is about fostering the common good. It is about informing the public. And when news becomes a business, when news becomes about entertainment, then issues that are not uplifting, so to speak, issues that don't have an immediate emotional draw, whether it's around sex, whether it's around violence, whether it's around anything else, are shoved to the side. And you're reduced to essentially what we have been reduced to, which is a kind of carnival act.
Yeah, Chris, appreciate you coming on the show. That was author Chris Hedges.
Thank you.